Hi, I'm Justin Davey. I'm a filmmaker, photographer, currently in the Philippines. My initial idea was to create an ocean conservation documentary hitting up multiple different countries, but I was pulled more to the Philippines by different people that I spoke to. And so we're here, we've already been to Siargao, we're in Dumaguete right now, and then we're heading to Boracay. And the three different issues that we seem to be focusing on, I mean, in Siargao is really about surfers' love and appreciation and dependency on the ocean, and how that can teach us how to respect nature. And then here in Dumaguete, we were on the ground with fishermen turned into sea wardens, working with Marine Conservation Philippines, really focusing on the importance of mangroves and how important it is to protect those so that people can still live sustainably, and the importance that the mangroves play within kind of fighting not only climate change but protecting the ocean ecosystem here. And next we're going to go to Boracay and find out how maybe this shutdown for 6 months of Boracay has improved the environment there.
What got you interested in filmmaking?
When I talk to my friends about this, they all say, well, you were always documenting things, you were always taking pictures, and you always enjoyed that, so this is like a natural extension of that. Some people would probably say I can be a little sentimental, or like excessively romantic, so I think that kind of plays into the desire to find beautiful things or people or moments and capture them and recreate them. For the last few years it's been environmental documentary or journalistic work. Before that it was like fictional short films and experimental films, so it's not really controlled by one medium, and right now like surf photography is really appealing to me.
Why is the Philippines an appropriate place to tell a story about ocean conservation?
Obviously the Philippines, 7,107 islands, so it's an archipelago, and they are completely dependent on the ocean economically, and have been obviously historically, and so it's a part of their identity and their economy and their culture, and so that immediately makes it interesting to find out what they think about the ocean, how it's treated, and what their relationship is with it. And so I think other countries who might not feel so dependent on the ocean can learn from the Filipinos and the way they interact with the ocean. Secondly, it's growing, quite like it's 6%, so it's going to continue becoming like a more economically significant player in Southeast Asia and in the world in general. It's worth looking at how are they managing that kind of ride upwards in terms of how do they treat the environment, how do they create poverty alleviation programs, how do they create growth without destroying the resources and the reason people come here to enjoy kind of the natural beauty that the country has.
Before joining you on this trip, I received some criticism for flying long distances to further an environmental cause. Can you give us your thoughts on this?
It's easy to criticize, everyone who flies and does all these different things using the contemporary technologies. But I think in order to change the world, we have to meet with different people all over the world in order to give more power to the movement of hey, we need to create a more sustainable Earth so that not only our lives are healthier and cleaner, but then our children's and our grandchildren's. Because I think if you look at the science, you look at the data, it's objectively speaking, it's clearly going in not the best direction right now. Well, I made that joke earlier where it's like the best way to lower your carbon emissions is to just kill yourself. Yeah. Or just sit in a room and do nothing, but I don't think you'd be affecting the world in the way that, in a positive way. So you have to take action in some way, and if that is building new networks and new connections amongst diverse communities that share the same ideas and desires, irrespective of religion or nationality or race, that ultimately is how we can maybe shift the world, nudge the world in a cleaner, healthier direction so that our children can have a better life.
What sort of feeling would you like the audience to walk away with after watching this film?
I hope they understand the Filipino people or country a little bit better. It's definitely time for maybe new narratives to be made here to for an international audience, not just like a local audience. Hopefully that shows the Filipino people in a way that's more reflective of what the country's going to look like in 2020 and 2025 versus this, harking back to the 80s. It's a different time now. The world's completely different, and so the country needs new stories so it can be better understood locally and abroad.
The title of this piece is Bayani. Can you tell us what this means?
Bayani is a Tagalog word for hero. People that I had spoken to said like the concept of redemption or heroism, which is like very much a part of Filipino culture or storytelling. And so I wanted to incorporate that. I think traditionally, like, the idea of a hero is very much like the Superman, the Ubermensch, like the individual, and individuals are crucial to like pushing things forward, but I wanted to make the hero of the story actually the the strength of a community, and I've seen that especially in Siargao, the strength of the community there. It's really powerful, really palpable, and so it wasn't just like just the individuals, but it was like the power of their network together created this very warm, welcoming, positive culture that definitely is a part of why Siargao is so successful. And then also going to Dumaguete to talk to the fishermen who became sea wardens. Camille's work is all about working with the communities, and so when we met with Evelyn and she manages that 20 hectares mangrove forest for about 40 people, her critical role was educating and empowering the locals to understand why the mangroves are important, and then invest in restoring the habitat and protecting the habitat for future generations so that they have more food. But you can't have food security without kind of a collective understanding at the community level. And so ultimately, like, the community is the hero figure, right, in any of these sustainability projects. We need this kind of positivity, especially in this day and age where we have a lot of cynicism, a lot of mis and disinformation. We definitely need honest people who are going to tell stories and work with people of all kinds. And that's also kind of a sort of heroism, right, so that all people can have a decent quality of life.